Earth Day edition of the Virginia Plastic Pollution Prevention Network. My name is Christina Trapani. I'm with Ecomaniac Company, and I am the director of the Virginia Plastic Pollution Prevention Network. Welcome to our Zoom meeting. As Katie said, we are going to be recording, and all of these meetings are posted on the Virginia Plastic Pollution Network website on the members only page. So you can only see it if you are signed in as a member, and it's also on our YouTube channel. But probably easier to just go to the members only page on our website. Let's see. And if you haven't already, please make sure you place your name and affiliation in the chat box so we can keep track of who has joined our meeting. We've got a packed agenda today. So before Katie gets into the introduction of the network itself, because that seems to be our routine, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a packed agenda today. So if you are on the agenda to talk, please keep it within your time limit, which I will remind you of as I introduce you. So Katie, do you want to give yourself an intro?
Yes, hi, I'm Katie Register. I'm Executive Director of Clean Virginia Waterways, and along with Christina, one of the co-founders of this network. And the other co-founding organization, of course, is the Virginia Coastal Zone Management Program. So the network has, the main goal of the network is to foster cooperation, communication, information sharing, and collaboration amongst all the groups in Virginia that are involved with any kind of plastic pollution prevention. If you know of other groups that you think should be part of our network, please communicate with them and let them know about our monthly meetings. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over back to Christina, who's going to introduce our speakers. And like you said, we've got a lot of really great speakers today. So thank you.
I always forget that part. The way we've been kind of creating or making this agenda work is that we're doing 3 intros and updates from either current members or new members, so they can tell us about upcoming events or just introduce themselves to the group. So our 3 members today, we're going to start off with Aaron Provencio. I hope I said that right, from the Wildlife Center of Virginia. You guys have about 5 minutes. Just give us your intro, your information about your organization and what you got going on with plastic pollution.
Well, thank you so much, Christina. And yes, you nailed my last name, so I appreciate that. It's not the easiest to do. So my name is Aaron Provencio. I am a member of the team over here at the Wildlife Center of Virginia. We are a teaching and research hospital for native Virginia wildlife here in Waynesboro, over here in Augusta County. So in terms of plastic pollution, we kind of see everything. I mean, it's everything from discarded fishing tackle that gets swallowed or wrapped around turtles that we see, or waterfowl, fishing line that gets used as nesting material, or even that's just hanging from trees that'll get wrapped around birds' wings and birds' legs and birds' necks, especially like those young birds when they're in the nest. If a mama will grab a piece of plastic or something, use it as nesting material, and they can end up choking on that or getting wrapped up in that, and it's just really terrible. A lot of ingestions. So we'll see a lot of raptors that come in who mistake balloons or bags or whatever, or that have kind of food attached to them from like landfills and stuff. And one of the big ones that we see, weirdly enough, that you wouldn't think, is we actually see a lot of raccoons and opossums that get their hands or their heads stuck inside of peanut butter cans, mayonnaise, or peanut butter jars, mayonnaise jars, soda bottles, things like that. So really, we sort of see we see patients that come in with all sorts of different results and unfortunate circumstances due to plastic pollution. And a lot of times, unfortunately, especially with those fishing line wrap-ups, there's just nothing that we can do about that. So it's something that we take very seriously at the Wildlife Center. It's something that we do see in person every single day. So it is something that we take very seriously. We appreciate you welcoming us and letting us be here and representing what we do.
Thank you for joining us. I think at some point this year, we are going to have a meeting where we do focus on wildlife. So we're so glad that you've joined us at this time. Okay, getting all tongue-tied. Who's tongue-tied from it being Earth Month? All right, Teresa Augustin from Norfolk Botanical Garden.
Hey everyone, I am from Norfolk Botanical Garden in Norfolk, Virginia, which if you've been to the airport in Norfolk, we are right next to them. In fact, we're actually connected. There's a little pathway you can take. It's kind of hidden, but connects you right to the airport in case you have a layover or time to kill. Come see us. So the garden about 5 years ago really got serious with our environmental stewardship. We're known as a very beautiful place, but we wanted to focus more on what's going on behind that beauty. What function do gardens serve? You know, what kind of like ecosystem services can we promote? You know, pollinator friendly, you know, bee friendly, butterflies, all that good stuff, native plants. We really started to look at our chemical footprint and reduce that. So we have banned the use of neonicotinoids, which has a pretty detrimental effect on native bee populations. We're also looking at ways that we can reduce our glyphosate usage on property as well. Several years ago, we banned the use of single-use plastics on campus. So any event that's held, our gift shop, our cafe no longer sell single-use plastic products. We offer alternatives. Sometimes it's the compostable like PLA or something like that, but we're always trying to improve on that. So just because that's what we offer now, we can improve that in the future. We're happy to help complement any kind of like regional environmental conservation efforts. So if the garden can sign a petition or lend a voice to something going on in the state, we would love to do that, and to just please contact me about that. We've gotten into educating about lifestyle choices that can impact climate change and how gardening can be a part of that. We promote Plastics-Free July. Last year we partnered with a local zero waste shop to kind of get the word out, and you know, both awareness for the shop, but also awareness of the lifestyle changes folks can make. And this summer, to really kind of reinforce that message, we will have the Washed Ashore Art to Save the Sea exhibit from June 5th through I think mid-November. So it's a really long period of time that they're here, which is great. So we'll have 15 sculptures, and they're creating one uniquely for us that kind of represents the East Coast. It's going to be an eagle carrying a menhaden fish in its talons. So we partnered, our environmental partner with this is the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. So we can also kind of educate about the bay and what a vital resource that is, and kind of connect that, you know, make the connection that everything in nature is connected, including the garden. So I guess that sums it up, and please feel free to reach out if the garden can support something you guys are doing.
Thank you, Teresa. I can't wait to come and see it. I was able to get to the Nauticus Planet Our Plastic exhibit also, which is coming to an end in 5 days. So if you're in the area, it's definitely a must see. And then the Washed Ashore sculptures are absolutely just amazing. So if you, again, if you're heading out of town on an airplane, come down to Norfolk, go to the Botanical Garden, and then fly out. It would be worth it.
And do let us know
Okay.
if you need any marine debris for those sculptures that you'll be creating there at the Botanical Gardens, because our volunteers could definitely help.
Well, you know, we collected marine debris last fall and mailed it to the artist in Oregon. And then I don't know how much of our stuff is incorporated in it, but we just recently were participating in the community creation of the eagle sculpture. So she just sent us all these kits of the pre-drilled, prepared plastic that you just assemble, that she'll take and then create the eagle. So if anybody wants to come out this Friday, if you're in the area, we're doing a community creation assembly kit day from 9:30 to 11:30. Come on out, it's free. You get to help create a sculpture that will then travel the world, maybe, I don't know.
Great, thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Natasha Rathlev. Hopefully I've gotten all these last names correct. I'm sorry, mine's tricky too. With the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. She's going to talk to us about Clean the Bay Day.
Thank you, Christina. And yes, you got my name right. So yes, I'm from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. I think I kind of talked a little bit about that when I first started coming to meetings in December, but our annual event, Clean the Bay Day, typically takes place at the end of May, and we actually did not host it last year, but it is returning in a somewhat different format this year. If it's all right, is it okay if I share my screen? I will stay under time, but I just have a couple of slides if that's okay. Okay, great. I just wanted to check before I did.
Yeah, Katie will probably have to make you a co-host.
Right.
You do that.
It's okay, and I can just put some info in the chat.
I'm trying to do that as we speak, so keep speaking.
Okay, so Clean the Bay Day this year, instead of being just one day, is actually we're hosting a 5-day virtual event. So it'll go from May 31st until June 5th this year. And we're calling it Clean the Bay Your Way this year, as we are encouraging participants to perform, whether it's a local cleanup in their area, or we're also opening it up to including tree plantings or native plantings, and rain barrel installations. We will be opening registration for Clean the Bay Day this year on April 30th, so very soon. And we do have partnering groups and state parks who will have areas open to be available for cleanups, but we are also encouraging folks to host cleanups just in their local areas as well, as long as they have permission to be there, or if it's a public area, obviously, to clean up there as well. When you register for Clean the Bay Day, you can register as an individual, or you can also register as a virtual team. So that's a little bit different this year, which would mean you just take part in your cleanup in either your household or as an individual, but you can record your data as a team. And so we are encouraging anybody who participates to come back and record their data, including where they cleaned up, all your usual suspects, what you were cleaning up, the estimate amount of pounds you cleaned up, and that kind of good stuff. And we will be having a photo/video contest this year. So that means you can, when you enter your data, you can enter a photo or a video of your cleanup, and you'll be entered in to win some pretty cool prizes. So that's awesome because prizes are fun. And we really hope to spread the word on that, seeing as our registration does open in 10 days. So we really are hoping to spread the word and get people excited about this kind of hybrid model that we're doing this year for Clean the Bay Day for the 32nd annual Clean the Bay Day. So if you have any questions, you can either ask me, like you can send me a chat message or anything, but I will also drop in the chat the email for just Clean the Bay Day in general. There's a specific email for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. And can you, if you have a website, can you put that in the chat room also?
Yes.
And then you and I maybe can talk online about getting something up on our website about it. And anytime anyone wants to put an event on our website, unfortunately members, you can put a forum, start a forum, but you can't place an event on the website. So I can do that for you. It's not a problem. I just need details.
Awesome.
Yeah. And also, if for whatever reason you don't get Natasha's email, or if there's someone else on the call that you want to discuss with, anything with further, you can go into our directory on our website and find all of our members and their contact information. So that's another fun thing that you can, use the website for is making connections outside of these meetings. So before we get into our next speaker, I just want to remind everyone, because I think we had a few more people join, to make sure you put your name and affiliation in the chat room, so we have a record of everyone that's on the call. And let's see, I think we have something great coming up next. Not that all of you aren't great, but we're all great, right? I want to introduce Christy Kehoe from the NOAA Marine Debris Program. She is going to talk to us about the Mid-Atlantic Marine Debris Action Plan. And I'm going to attempt to share my screen with this. You all see that okay?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. Christy, thank you for joining us.
Great, thank you. And I think we're seeing the full software. So I don't know if you want to do present mode or what's easier. We can certainly have it like this too.
Let me see. How about this one?
Yeah, towards the bottom. There you go.
Is that better?
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christy Kehoe, and I am the Mid-Atlantic Regional Coordinator with the NOAA Marine Debris Program. And on behalf of our program, I really wanted to thank Christina and Katie and everyone here for the opportunity to present at today's Virginia Plastic Pollution Network meeting. And also thanks to Christina for advancing my slides for me. I've been fortunate enough to attend a handful of other meetings and excited to share and learn from you all today. So next slide, please. So during the presentation, I will provide a really brief background on the NOAA Marine Debris Program, highlight some exciting developments in the region with the Mid-Atlantic Marine Debris Action Plan, share information on the NOAA Marine Debris Program's grant competitions and upcoming funding opportunities, as well as share resources of where you can find this. Next slide, please. So I wanted to start off with a federal definition of marine debris used by our program. So here it is, and in short, it is really any solid man-made material that is in the coastal and marine environment that should not be there. Next slide. The NOAA Marine Debris Program was established in 2006 by an act of Congress, and the program is the federal lead to investigate and prevent the adverse impacts of marine debris. Most recently, the Save Our Seas Act 2.0 was passed in December 2020, which authorizes our program to continue to work and address marine debris. We're a team of roughly 25 spread across the country with our headquarters in Silver Spring, Maryland. I've been with the program for over 5 years, and I truly love the work that I do and the great work of our partners and others in the region. Next slide. So the Marine Debris Program works with partners around the country to reduce these impacts through our 5 main pillars: regional coordination, response, prevention, research, and removal. I'll be focusing the majority of my presentation today on the regional coordination pillar and our regional action planning efforts, and then I'll go really briefly through the other pillars. Next slide, please. So marine debris certainly can be different around the United States, and this is why we have staff located in 10 different regions. Under the regional coordination pillar, our staffs help provide regional expertise and coordinate with local partners on local marine debris issues and needs. Next slide. We consider the Mid-Atlantic region to be Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. And so my role here is to work with our grant management, outreach, stakeholder engagement to support Mid-Atlantic regional needs. Next slide. So also under regional coordination, this is where our program helps facilitate action plans, which create a shared framework which is also specific to different regions. So our program monitors the plan's progress and promote information sharing across the marine debris community. And so here you're looking at a status of 10 state and regional marine debris action plans that have been published and or facilitated by the Marine Debris Program. The priorities and or the Marine Debris Program has provided funding. So priorities and focus areas certainly change from state to state or region to region, but they're similar in that they create a roadmap for collaborative partnership to address and combat marine debris. We do this by bringing stakeholders together from all different backgrounds who volunteer to lead or partner on specific actions over the course of the plan, with, again, the action priorities identified by the community. Next slide. In developing regional plans, our program noted the importance and value of this action planning effort. So this includes, but certainly is not limited to, increasing awareness and public education on the issue, bringing a diverse set of marine debris partners together and promoting networking, having coordinated messaging on a shared vision, and helping bring funding and other resources to the region, as well as informing decision makers and the public about partners' regional work. Next slide. I want to emphasize that these action plans are community driven. The community includes all stakeholders who have an interest in addressing marine debris and creating a shared solution. So This includes nonprofits, tribal group, academia, private sector, fishers, crabbers, watermen, local, state, and federal agencies, regional bodies, and many more. So as such, ownership of the action plan truly belongs to the wider community, with the Marine Debris Program just really here to facilitating the planned along and making sure it's on track. Next slide. So I'm very excited to share that a new region-wide Mid-Atlantic Marine Debris Action Plan is soon to be published. The action plan is centered on the development and maintenance of collaborative and diverse partnerships and the actions to combat marine debris specific to our region. The action plan's vision is to keep the Mid-Atlantic region, coast, communities, habitat, wildlife, and our ocean free from the impacts of marine debris. It's through our mission, this community-driven action plan, we hope to work on a multifaceted approach to address the issue. This also includes cross-cutting initiatives identified by the community to promote justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, build capacity, coordinate, and communicate. The action plan will have a timeline of 5 years from 2021 through the end of 2026. And current status is that the action plan is being reviewed by our communications team with formatting and copy editing, and hoping to have a draft published this spring. Just got word out of yesterday. This will likely be mid-May. Once this is published, we'll share this on our communication platforms as well as our partners to really get the word out. And in a few slides, I'll share where we'll put them on the Marine Debris Program side as far as resources. Next slide, please. Additionally, I wanted to share an overview of the action plan journey and thank those that might be on the call that were part of the process to provide feedback. So in early 2020, we were full steam ahead planning to hold in-person workshops, which was our standard approach. And then, of course, this new reality hit. So in lieu of in-person workshops, we reached out to about 75 organizations across the region who are working on marine debris, as well as conducted 50 individual calls. And this is really helpful and valuable to collect feedback on the plan and priorities, and also to build relationships. Additionally, I presented at regional marine debris meetings and summits to, again, learn and collect feedback, as well as review available data sources such as ICC data, Marine Debris Track Rep, and other data available on Mid-Atlantic states, as well as analyzing what the Marine Debris Program has done in other regions. Then took all this feedback and synthesized it into background research and created a draft where we held a series of workshops in December 2020, really kind of identifying the priorities under each goal area. And then after that, we held two different partner-written feedback review periods to collect comments and confirm organizational commitments that ended later, or this past winter in 2021. And again, we're really hoping, and I'm truly hoping and excited with this plan being published soon. Next slide, please. So the plan will be divided into 4 goal areas based on this stakeholder analysis and feedback. So this includes consumer debris, derelict fishing gear, microplastics and microfibers, and abandoned and derelict vessels and related debris. Next slide, please. The overarching structure of the plan is goals, strategies, objectives, and actions, which will be completed and furthered by partners over the 5-year period. Next slide. So each goal area has 5 sub-strategies consistent across the goal areas. So this being the first, prevention, education, and outreach. Second, research and monitoring. Third, proper disposal and infrastructure. The 4th, removal. And 5, policy and management. Again, these strategies were identified as the top priorities by our partners through this engagement process. Next slide, please. All right, so here's a screenshot of the draft as it currently looks before I send it off to our comms team to work their magic. In total, we had 54 actions with 94 partner organizations who represent all Mid-Atlantic states and sectors. Additionally, the community also identified metrics for tracking to help us ensure that we're able to move this forward. So as you can see by this action, if you can just squint at it here, I was really taken aback by partner interest in the plan. Really, despite even all the hurdles of last year, we really had a lot of volunteer efforts, with one action being having about 29 partners assigned to it, which is almost the same number of partners in an entire in our other entire regional plan. So again, just really taken aback and really appreciative of all the interest in this plan. Next slide, please. So in this action plan, we had leads and partners, which are entities, again, that have volunteered to carry out a specific action. They're responsible for supporting and undertaking actions and providing input on progress. This is certainly pending the availability of resources and capacities such as funding, staff, timing, and materials. So really, truly a volunteer effort. We were able to get insight and support from a number of really amazing Virginia-based organizations. A few of them I pulled here. And I want to apologize for those on the call that I just didn't have the opportunity to connect with about this action plan. It will be published soon, but certainly please reach out to me. I'll share my contact information here, and it's available in the directory, as I'm happy to discuss and brainstorm opportunities and ways to engage on this plan and connect you with partners as well moving forward. Next slide, please. I also want to mention that we have been working with partners who have state-specific action plans to help support alignment of actions. And so this also includes the amazing Virginia Marine Debris Reduction Plan that was originally published in 2014 and is currently being updated. And so both of the Mid-Atlantic and Virginia plans are similar, that they provide roadmaps and a strategic focus on marine debris, however differ just on the scale, with the Mid-Atlantic Action Plan being a little bit broader on regional topics that go across state lines. And I've also been really fortunate to have such a great partnership with those Virginia planners to help ensure alignment of the actions in the plan when possible, and to help sync our reporting status to help ensure that the partners listed on both plans are able to participate and make it really easy for them. Next slide, please. Feeding into that point on monitoring, the action plan will be monitored on a semi-annual basis by the program. We're either going to use a progress report form or a Google form, and really to help ensure the plan remains successful. And on my side, once I collect this information on monitoring, I'll be sure to update the action plan community as well as the status on what is the actions. And then also I wanted to take this opportunity to let you all know that we do plan to hold a mid-plan update in 2023, and fingers and toes crossed we're able to do this in person. But this will be another opportunity to engage partners on the plan, see what's working, see what isn't working, and just continue to build on the successes. Next slide, please. So as the Mid-Atlantic Regional Coordinator, I'm also here to implement and support information sharing. This is leveraging newsletters or other available communication methods. One of the resources is the Mid-Atlantic Marine Debris Collaboration Portal that was first developed from partner interest to better share information that's both funded and non-funded resources. So once the action plan is published, I will also update this site as well. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to change gears from action planning because I wanted to share another planning effort that's under our response pillar. And so the Marine Debris Program, we also support creation of emergency marine debris response guides that work to outline existing response structures at the state, local, and federal levels and relevant emergency response authorities. And really, this just lays out different types of common waterway debris after emergencies and who has the authority to respond. And to date, we've completed plans for Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and most recently working on New Jersey and we do an annual update to ensure the information is correct and our contacts are correct. And I believe we just are now finishing the annual update for Virginia that should be on track to publish before hurricane season on our website. Next slide, please. All right, so now I wanted to share how the Marine Debris Program works in the remaining 3 pillars. So really our program is able to do such amazing work through our partnerships. We're able to connect with these partners through different funding mechanisms, federal grants for prevention, research, and removal, federal funding opportunities. And I want to mention that something we started initiating about 2 years ago is a letter of intent process as a first step before the full proposal. And this is typically about 2 pages or so, and really hoping to save time and consideration of stakeholders with the understanding that grant writing is quite a heavy lift. Just for your awareness, the upcoming award cycle will be focused on our removal as we do on an annual basis, but this year we'll be focusing on prevention, which we do every other year. The information about the removal and prevention competition will be typically posted in later summer with fall being where we have open letters of intent and application periods. And then if selected further or if selected grantees will be notified that following spring. So again, more information can be found on our marine debris funding opportunities page, or feel free to reach out to me. Next slide. I wanted to also have this opportunity to highlight one of our new Virginia projects as an example. And so this is a fiscal year 20 prevention grant with George Mason University in partnership with Keep Prince William Beautiful, working with 2 Virginia Title I high schools to inspire reduction in single-use plastic water bottle usage. And it's through this project that GMU aims to reach about 10 teachers and 40 Prince William County High School student delegates. The project completed its initial survey of students on their use of plastic bottles. And interesting, the survey found that the majority of students who responded used more than 3 plastic bottles per day. The most common type of plastic was used for water, though most respondents also indicated that they do own a reusable bottle at home. And so the grantees are planning to use these findings to create a community-based social marketing initiative and student-led outreach and social media campaigns. The school is also planning to install water refill stations on campus to monitor usage. And despite the school stay-at-home orders, partners were really able to still adapt to this virtual approach over the last year and hold educator workshops and confirming student delegates. And with that, again, this is a relatively new project and it will be wrapping up in August 2022, but really excited about the great work that they're doing. All right, almost done here. If you don't mind going to the next page. So if you're interested in learning more about these projects, please visit our NOAA Marine Debris Program's Mid-Atlantic page. This includes a list of our active grant projects and activities in the region. Next slide. Another resource I wanted to share with you all is the NOAA Marine Debris Program's Clearinghouse. And this actually includes all past projects that we have funded over the past 15 years or so. And so if you're curious to know more about like what type of work that we do, who we've partnered with in Virginia in the past, really encourage you to check out this website. Next slide. And lastly, I also wanted to share the collaboration portal again, and specifically call it the funding resources page, as I know funding is always a challenge, especially a lot of the hurdles from last year. So the funding information can be found under the resources tab, which I tried to add an arrow in there, but I really do my best to update this page with relevant funding information of known grants. So this isn't just Marine Debris Program grants. This is really anything that I find that's relevant to any Mid-Atlantic potential stakeholder. So if you have any funding opportunities that you'd like to share, please feel free to email and reach out, and I'd be happy to update. Or if you're interested to learn more, again, please reach out to me. And with that, next slide. And I'm not sure if we have time, Christina, for questions today, or if there's any that come in with the chat. I'm happy to take a few, or again, if not, more than happy to provide my contact information in this chat, and please, by all means, reach out to me.
Yeah, we definitely have time for a few questions. Does anyone have questions for Christine? Eli.
Yeah, is there any initiative going for deposit legislation or pay-as-you-throw kind of policies that would make it less cost-effective to be dispose of plastics irresponsibly?
That's a great question. You know, I'm not as looped in on what's happening on the state or local side. So with Virginia, I might toss that back to maybe Katie or Christina that might know. But on the federal side, there's certainly a lot happening. I'll say our program isn't a regulatory program, so I'm not as involved on the legal side of everything. I know the Save Our Seas Act 2.0 that passed in December, part of the act authorized our program, but there's also a lot of really interesting aspects of what other federal agencies are doing. So that might be something to check out. I don't think it has those exact things you mentioned, but it could be a good resource to see what others are doing. But thanks, Eli.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in seeing that develop, because I feel like the structure of the economy, it's like here at the local, we do the litter pickup, and the local governments do some version of recycling, and of course they put stuff in the landfill, but they don't have the scale to deal with the structured flaws we got. And so that's what I'm looking for, partners that can have that vision and perhaps go to Europe for some role models.
Well, maybe, this is Katie, maybe in the future, we should talk about the Break Free from Plastic bill, which is in the Congress right now. It was introduced last year, it's introduced again this year. And I think it has some of those elements that you're talking about. So that might be a topic for a future monthly meeting. We're going to do a poll at the end of today about future topics, and I'll add that to it.
Well, I'll campaign for that one.
Okay.
Mark, I saw your hand icon up, and then Alan will get to you after that.
Katie said what I was going to say. There is a provision in the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act, which is a federal bill that deals with bottles and a nationwide bottle refund bill, refund program and bottle management program.
Yeah, and everybody take a look at the chat box. Thank you, Mark, for that. Take a look at the chat box. Kelly has added information about a webinar that's coming up about the Break Free from Plastics Act. And she's got a website there if you want to learn about that webinar.
Alan, we can take your question, and then we probably need to move on after that. So any of you guys can contact Christy offline after this if you want to.
Yeah, I'm here sort of representing Waste Watchers of the Eastern Shore, which is the Keep America Beautiful affiliate here. And I've come over the years to feel, I've spent all of my career in the plastic packaging field on all aspects of it, including recycling and reclamation. And I've become acquainted with extended producer responsibility concepts. And I've become persuaded that that is the only way to deal with, to use an economic incentive, but the only way to deal with the problems of people not properly disposing of disposable packaging. So Eli, I'm with you. I will not be a regular participant here, even when Waste Watchers, I hope, becomes a member, but I will stay involved. Katie, you and I have had conversations in the past about this, and I do hope that we can identify like-minded folks who recognize that if you don't fund depollution and discourage environmentally inappropriate products from appearing on the market in the first place, you're not going to solve the problem. I've picked up roadsides for many years. It ain't going to work without something to pay for and disincentivize. On one hand, to pay for the cleanup, on the other hand, to disincentivize the pollution in the first place. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I'll mute myself soon, but thank you, Alan, Eli, and everybody. And thank you again for the opportunity to speak today. I'll put my contact information in the chat, but if it's tied to action planning, emergency response, our grant competitions, or really something that I should be aware of in the region, please reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you and learn more about your work. So with that, thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Christy. And our next speaker is Megan Quinn with DEQ, and she's going to talk on a more state level perspective with the new Executive Order 77. So Alan and Eli, she might be able to answer some of your questions also.
I think it does tie in really well to the conversation we were just having about incentives to move away from things, because I guess I'll bring up my slides. I do have some slides if I could share them. They're not quite as visually appealing. We've only been working on this. I think the executive order was signed a little less than a month ago. So Katie, let me know.
Megan, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Sorry. And I have jet noise buzzing behind me, but
I relocated so I didn't have to fight with my husband's voice, but
Megan, you are now
any better. Okay, perfect.
But yeah, if you can keep your microphone a little closer to your mouth.
I will do a better job of that. Okay, here we go. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little update on Executive Order 77, which was signed March 23rd at Environment Virginia. And it's Virginia leading by example to reduce plastic waste, plastic pollution, and solid waste. I think you guys probably know more about the background than we normally have to give during when we've been talking about it. We've been generating more solid waste. We want to make the landfills that we have last as long as possible. There's issues right now with having options to find recyclers, and single-use plastics are a huge problem. We're using a lot of them. They end up places they're not supposed to be. So that was the impetus behind this executive order, which, although there's a general waste reduction and theme behind it, it has some very specific requirements for single-use plastics. And the executive order applies to all state agencies as well as universities and their concessionaires. So I'll go through a little bit about how the order is laid out and the time frame, and then give you some idea of how we're planning to address it. You know, it did come from the secretary. Well, it came from the governor with input from the secretary's office. But DEQ is tasked with a few of the items within the order, as well as a few other state agencies that need to help us develop some guidance. The first part of the order refers to the cessation of use, where state agencies after 120 days can no longer buy, sell, or distribute plastic bags, single-use plastic, food service containers, cutlery, no straws, and no single-use plastic water bottles. So that's a big one. And I was on a call earlier with Christina, and she kind of went through some of the items that they normally find during cleanups, and it was like right off that list. So this is something that state agencies and universities will be moving away from. So I might have some questions for, oh, I wrote the name down and I don't have it now, but okay. So the second part refers or focuses on other single-use plastic items outside of the list of items that can no longer be used. And over a period of years from now to 2025, every year, state agencies need to reduce the amount of other single-use plastics by 25%. To when we get to 2025, there should be no more single-use plastics. The first section, there's an exemption for medical use, but other than that, you can't use them. For the second section, you can use materials if they are 100% recyclable or compostable. And then to go along with helping implement that, DEQ is required to set up a template to help state agencies do this. So we're in the process right now of laying out a template that'll collect information on the ban or the cessation items that they'll no longer be using, as well as identifying other single-use plastics that need to be phased out over time, and then also looking at just their general waste stream to reduce waste in general. So we're putting out the template. The template needs to go out May 7th, and then working with other state agencies like our Department of General Services, our IT department. Oops, someone's looking to get in. And then to put together some guidance to help state agencies implement the cessation and the reduction. And then, so the template that we put together, agencies and universities will report to us annually, and we'll roll it up and report it to the governor. The secretary's office as well needs to come up with a report for recommendations for reducing solid waste. I think here's a good caption of the timeline. You know, it's very quick, which is great, and we've got a lot of attention and focus on it. And we've met with not all state agencies, but a number of other state agencies so far. And, you know, there's, you know, we know there are going to be some things that are, you know, we're going to have to work with. But everyone seems, you know, they're on board. So it's exciting. So right now I mentioned we're working on the template. We're working with other state agencies to put together some guidance, and we know that a lot of the information that we're going to need to provide, in addition to how to actually do it, is just some of the background information that this group, I think in particular, is very familiar with, but maybe some other groups are not. Some just general education about why we need to go beyond, like why it's not just okay that it's recyclable and we're getting rid of the use of some of these materials. So that's some things that we're working on putting together sooner rather than later to help everyone understand the importance of the order. So that was all I had. I think that it ties in well with where we're trying to lead by example and show that we can do this. And does anyone have any questions?
Thanks, Megan. We can definitely take a couple of questions if anyone has one.
Well, this is Katie. I actually, somebody called me the other day and asked if K-12 schools would be included in this since they are part of the governor's cabinet. And I thought I'd throw that question at you, Megan.
I do not believe that they are included, but I would like to verify that before responding to them. There's, you know, we got a chance to comment on it a little bit before it came out, but it was, you know, we've really only had it for a month as well. So we're trying to work through some of those, you know, there have been a lot of questions that we're trying to determine the answers to. When we've been talking about it, we haven't been talking about K-12 schools, but I'll confirm that to make sure.
Great, thank you.
This is Kelly Dennings. I put my question in the chat, but I'll say it here too. Regarding the plastic bags, does that include trash bags, or is that like a carry-out bag? And if so, is that like impacting janitorial staff? And
It's an excellent question. That is a question that we are asking as well, because that, you know, we have what's in the order. We're waiting for some guidance on that question as well. I wish I had a clearer answer, but before I answer, I want to make sure that it's in line with what the secretary and the governor had met the order to mean and to cover. So that's certainly something we're working through. We certainly, you know, there are certainly times when, you know, I'm not in the office right now, but everyone had a trash can in their office that was empty daily. That's excessive. But it just says single-use plastic bags right now. So I'm sorry that I don't have better, clearer answers, but you know, that's definitely a question that we've had that we're waiting for some guidance on.
Well, I would hope that would be included as part of the learning curve of figuring out how to do what we normally do without the plastics. So I mean, washing the trash can might be a remedy for, you know, a practice for washing, like washing dishes, you know, extra work, but it's labor, not pollution.
They do actually make reusable trash can liners now, so
Okay.
I don't know what would be worse, the liner or the can itself.
Sort of an adaptive time, and it can be exciting to, you know, come up with clever ways to avoid the impacts.
Yeah, we're having.
And personally, I would think if you're keeping the food waste out and managing that separately, your can probably isn't going to get as dirty. But that's my own personal
Yeah, I agree with that.
The university that I'm at has a team that's coming together, waiting, of course, for the guidance to come out in early May. But yeah, we've got a lot of questions along those lines. And also, you know, daily emptying of trash cans that have 3 pieces of trash, but the plastic bag goes daily with those, you know, small pieces of trash, but then you have to weigh it against employment. Do you let people not come to work because we're not going to empty the trash so often? So anyway, yeah, it's complicated, but we need to solve this.
And that's something I think we do have a little longer on the guidance. The template will be out in early May, but we have a little longer to put the guidance together. But one of the things that I didn't mention earlier is that we're planning on putting together some work groups around either different items, different pain points that come up. And you know, I think the only one that we've identified so far that will definitely be its own work group is universities, because they do have some very you know, unique things that they're doing that maybe some other ones aren't. But that's something that keep an eye out for if your university is interested in participating in and working with other universities. So we did put together like a newsletter mailing list that we'll be using to communicate and like ask people to sign up for things like that. So I can send that to you, Katie, if you're interested.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Megan. I think if anyone else has questions for Megan, they can either contact her offline or post them in the chat room. She might be able to answer them via chat. Katie, you're up next to update us on plastic bag efforts.
Okay, I actually didn't even see that on my copy of the agenda. So as many of you know, in 2020, January of 2020, the legislature in Virginia gave permission to local municipalities, local governments, the authority to put 5-cent fees on single-use plastic bags. So it's been a year and a couple months, and no municipality in the state of Virginia has done that. None have put a fee on a plastic bag yet. So a group convened a little over a week ago of nonprofits to talk about what we've heard, like how many local governments have started to look at this and what are the barriers that they're facing. Why have they, you know, been reluctant to go ahead and put a 5-cent fee on plastic single-use bags? So we had this discussion, and we identified 6 or 7 communities in Virginia that are interested in putting the fee in place, but they have a lot of questions. There's no guidance so far from the Virginia Department of Taxation. There's no model ordinance language that's provided to the local communities. A list of questions that Fairfax had was sent to the Virginia Legislative Services, asking questions like, does it apply to this but not to that? And what about this situation? Just lots of the nitty gritty. And most of the answers they got back, as I understand it, were, well, we're going to have to let a community go ahead and put the fee in place and then let these challenges come up. One answer actually said this will probably have to be, one of those answers would probably have to be a matter of a court case. So we've sensed that communities are reluctant to go first. They want somebody else to go first and deal with those unknowns. And we did hear from one place where one county board of supervisors met to discuss this, and there was general interest, but one legislator said that he did not personally think that plastic bags were a litter problem. So there's a issue of education, obviously. So that's what we discussed. This group of nonprofits discussed, what can we do? A lot of us have data. For example, Clean Virginia Waterways collects data. We've been doing it for 26 years. So we're actually writing a report right now that outlines what a problem plastic bags are when they're littered in the environment. So we're going to meet again probably in the next 3 weeks or so, and just want to, again, talk about how the nonprofit world who cares about this issue can assist with municipalities. That's all I can recall. Christina, you were on that call. Were there any other high points that I missed?
Yeah, we mostly talked about barriers, and a question just came up in the chat room, which is, I think the question that is often asked is there any information on plastic bag fees impact on low income communities? And we did talk a little bit about that.
Right. And we heard about how some communities have rolled out taxes or fees on bags in conjunction with a lot of education, not just for consumers, but for businesses. Businesses also have a lot of questions because they don't want to get in trouble. They want to be in compliance. How are they going to collect the 5-cent fee? How much do they get to keep? How do they, there's no paperwork yet to give the fee to the Department of Taxation. All this needs to be done. But at any rate, some communities have rolled out tax fees or taxes and fees on bags in a way where there was great support. Other communities, it's just kind of been dumped without much education. And certainly the whole question of equity, like when Washington, D.C. put their 5-cent fee in place, beforehand, they distributed a lot of high quality, washable, long lasting shopping bags to families that are on what used to be called food stamps and any kind of financial support like that. So yes, it has to be done right, or there's not community support. This is what we heard from a couple of our guest speakers. Communities were like, well, if we're going to do this ahead of time, how will we pay for it? How will we pay for the education and the reaching out to businesses and helping businesses comply and handing out shopping bags if we don't have the funds until, after the fees in place. So yeah, a lot of barriers that we have to take a look at. If any of you are interested in that ongoing discussion, please reach out to me and we can add you to the list. But at this point, it's only been nonprofit organizations, environmental groups talking about how we can help. And then we're hoping that a future step will be, we don't know, a webinar or some kind of tools, some kind of portal where local municipalities can get answers. But right now, there's still a lot of questions. Any questions or thoughts? And again, if you're interested, contact me.
I see Alan's hand up.
Okay. Go ahead, Alan, please.
Yeah, I just had to unmute myself. Katie, on this subject, I agree that some way of imposing a cost on the excessive use of plastic bags, it's a free good right now, and free goods will be overconsumed. It's economics 001. So if you don't make it costly in some sense, you will not valve down, in my opinion, the use of plastic bags. On the other hand, most of the people on this call are probably concerned with other aspects of ecology than just litter, even though my own main emphasis is litter. Plastic bags happen to be the most ecologically sensible way to carry your groceries home. They're much better for the environment than making paper bags. And any carbon footprint analysis will show that. So, and also don't get caught in a rainstorm with your paper bags. So there may be other ways of doing this. The other thing is the method that you've talked about seems to be the most costly way of collecting these fees. So I just wonder if there's some outside the box thinking that might be needed to make this something that'll go down a lot easier and be more manageable. The way I see it now, it's unmanageable, the way you've described it. It's not
Well, fair enough. You know, no, fair enough. You bring up some really good points. But this law was put in place last year, and if the perfect,
There are stupid laws.
Yeah,
There
I know
are
a
bad
lot of, right. A lot of us are not pleased with elements of this bill for sure. So, and I've heard the arguments before about, you know, what's the best way to get your groceries home, and there are various options. So I guess we're gonna, for this conversation, we're working within the constraints of this bill. However, there are some environmental groups in Virginia who are saying this is going to be so clumsy. This is going to be such a mess. It's going to be, you know, so let's say you're running 20 Kroger stores in Virginia. You're going to have to keep a list of which stores have this kind of bag and which ones don't. And this actually might be so clumsy that it's going to lead to a statewide better legislation. And that's what NGOs are actually hoping for, because a lot of times piecemeal legislation like this has resulted in leads to a discussion about a level playing field, you know, a law for the state. Yeah.
It's not just level playing field, Katie. It's just the unmanageability of the whole thing. And where does the money go? And to what good purpose does the money get put that is collected?
Actually, the bill does say that the money that goes back to the municipality that passed the bill, it has to stay in the world of litter prevention and providing high quality reusable washable bags. So it's luckily it's going to stay in the world of litter prevention, but there's questions of how it's going to come back to the community. So yeah, it is imperfect. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other quick questions on that topic? And again, I'm putting my email in the chat box if this is a conversation you want to be part of. All right.
Thanks, Katie. I'm sorry, I sprung that one on you.
Sorry, it's all right.
So we did really well. It's 3:05. Our meeting goes until 3:30. We got a lot of content in that 1 hour time period. So one of the things we wanted to do, it is Earth Day this Thursday. Was kind of hoping to go around the room if anyone has an upcoming Earth Day event they want to share with us, or anything really in general if you're new to the group and you want to introduce yourself and your organization. But let's keep those your segment, let's call it, no more than 3 minutes, so that we can get to everyone that might want to speak. And because I'm already talking, I'm going to go first. I just wanted to report out that we had a Earth Day pop-up market at one of our local malls on Sunday, and I could not believe the success that we experienced with this outdoor pop-up market. We had about 30 eco-friendly vendors and environmental organizations. We had REI there collecting old shoes for recycling, and people were coming up to my tent and asking me where to take their old shoes, which you never know if that message is actually getting out. We had just an overwhelming number of people that were thankful that we were holding this Earth Day event and thankful for the vendors that we had. It was a great variety and it was a great event. So the people are interested, they're aware, and you know, Earth Day and all of our messages are getting out there. A lot of these people were just at the mall. So it was a really great location because then they came to check out our event, and I'm sure a lot of education came out of that event. Second, I am working with several organizations, including Virginia Beach Restaurant Association. Stacy, I see you on here, and the Virginia Beach Hotel Association, multiple organizations. We are doing an Earth Day community cleanup, Keep It Beachy Clean community cleanup on Thursday. We have 8 locations of cleanup sites. We're limiting it to 50 people per location. Stacy, do you have any updated numbers on how many volunteers have signed up for that event?
276 right now. So, yep. We've got 3 sold out locations at the 50.
Wow. So if any of you are in the area and would like to join us, it's Thursday from 4 to 6 at the oceanfront, the Vibe District, Rudy Inlet and Norfolk Avenue. And we will report on that effort next month. So those are my Earth Day.
And if we fill up, we're adding another location. Vince said that Helen could do Mocha, so we got to sign
That's
up. So we'll be
impressive.
full and have 9 locations.
Yeah, we'll be on the news tomorrow, so it's possible it might happen. All right, so does anyone else have any Earth Day events or just anything in general they want to share with the group?
Yeah, and actually, since we've got 22 minutes left and there's 25 of us on this call, we probably need to keep it more to like 30 seconds, not 3 minutes. But anybody else, come off mute and share what you're doing for Earth Week, Earth Month.
Hi, this is Nikki from Clean Valley Council in Roanoke. We're doing a virtual Earth Day on Thursday in the next couple of days. We just came off of our spring cleanup, which unfortunately it was good, but it was unfortunately a third of our usual turnout for Clean Valley Day. But we still did around, I want to say 16 to 18 tons in collection. And we also have Party for the Planet, where we work with the Mill Mountain Zoo and the Arts Council, and we have artists that are chosen every year to make sculptures out of recycled plastics. It's art to rescue the river. So it's things that are collected in the cleanups, turned around and used in these art pieces. One's going to be in one of the schools, and then another is going to be up at the zoo. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and it works pretty good just for the awareness. And we do the education piece of why it's important for this to come out. Other than that, we're also, the city of Roanoke is also talking about the bag tax. In fact, it got tabled last night. I haven't watched it, but we're involved in creating the education piece out here. So it's been very interesting, and all those uphill battles that we all face. Other than that, let's see, the Green 5K, we have that going, and that's pretty much it for out here.
Great, thank you, Nikki. Any other Earth Day events coming up?
Frederick.
Hey, this is Fred Blanton. I'm in Stanton with Shenandoah Green and also the Lewis Creek Watershed Advisory Committee. And so my colleague Cindy, who's on also, a whole bunch of us have been working on a lot of virtual events. A couple things we got going real quick. Working with the Friends of the Middle River, we've got a month-long cleanup, and we're using a tally sheet to collect all the sheets from all the people to do all the cleanups, and we're going to put all the data together and try to get it on the databases around the place. We've also got a tree program that we started last fall, and we're going to plant tree number 2,000 by the end of this month, hopefully on Arbor Day. And so we got that's great momentum. And then we've also got an interesting scavenger hunt online. We worked with the Action Bound app, if everybody's ever heard of it. And we gathered up all of our participants who would normally get together in the park for Earth Day. And they all supplied different steps for people to go around the whole community. We have 54 steps representing almost 20 organizations. And then people have to play the game on their phone and then go around to all the various places all over the area and answer unique questions that are environmentally oriented. And so we're really proud of that. And that's now gone live. It's called, it's Action Bound is the app. And it's called Earth Day Stanton 2021. You can search on that. And then we've got a little celebration, small, low key because of the pandemic, that's in our farmers market area this coming Saturday. And so a couple things going on there, but that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Earth Day events?
If nobody else is going to go, I could stop in. So Aaron again from the Wildlife Center. We are doing a virtual Earth Day event as well. I just put the link to that on our website into the chat room. We just have a couple of little events. They're all going to be virtual. So if you have Facebook or you want to tune in online, we'd love to see you there as well. And then one of the big things that we're doing as well is we're actually participating as an organization in a river cleanup on Saturday, which we're going to be doing some live streaming and stuff around that as well. It's going to be a lot of fun if any of you are interested in tuning in. Additionally, just if any of you don't necessarily kind of know what the Wildlife Center is about, feel free to visit our website and do a little bit of research on your own there. But yeah, again, we're going to have some nice little virtual events going all day on Thursday as well. So looking forward to that if anybody's interested in tuning in.
Great, thank you. So I actually have one little one. As Christina mentioned earlier, Nauticus Maritime Museum in Norfolk has the Planet or Plastic exhibit right now with National Geographic. And tomorrow at 2 p.m., there's going to be a panel discussion. I'll be part of that panel discussion. And we're going to be focused on solutions to intercepting plastic pollution before it gets to the ocean. The other panelists deal with trapping trash. So it's not prevention on the consumer side, but it's what are we going to do once it's been littered, keeping it out of the ocean. So it's 2 o'clock tomorrow. Just Google Nauticus and navigate to their plastic or planet exhibit.
May I? Oh, okay.
Yes, go ahead.
I see Dean's hand up.
There's 2 other hands first.
Yeah.
Let them go first.
Dean, you want to go ahead?
You're on mute, Dean.
Dean, you're still on mute.
Thank you. This is Dean Amwell. I'm with Eco Action Arlington. We're having a standard stream cleanup on Saturday as we normally do. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we have a tree canopy fund in Arlington where developers who don't plant all the trees they're supposed to when they redevelop a property put money into a fund that is then used to buy and plant trees on people's homes, both single family homes and on apartment and condo buildings. And we're Eco Action Arlington is now working with the Arlington branch of NAACP to try to get more of these trees planted in parts of the county where traditionally in the past we haven't had a lot of that going on, and to increase tree canopy in those areas. Thanks.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks, Dean. Morgan, I think you were next with the hand up.
Hey, this is Morgan from Keep Norfolk Beautiful. I think our exhibit is still at Nauticus. We worked with the Yale Nauticus students on a sculpture made of like recyclable plastic items and clean trash, and they called it like nature in big capital letters with 15 exclamation points after it, is like, this is what nature could look like if we're not careful with litter and plastic. So that's it's really fun. We also just had our Norfolk Recycles Day event. I'm still waiting on the numbers, but we had 127 residents drive through the event, and we collected 60 pounds of plastic bags. This coming weekend, we have a community cleanup, like a neighborhood focused community cleanup. And then this afternoon, actually, I'll be jumping off this call after this. I have to go back to our office for a tree planting with a Girl Scout troop, which I'm excited about. They're always fun to work with. And yeah, I think we've had an event almost every Saturday since the beginning of March. So we're not doing anything specific on Earth Day, but we've been trying to do a lot of little things around Earth Day with that in mind.
Thanks, Morgan. Alan?
Thank you. I got to figure out how to get rid of that hand when I'm done. That's down at the bottom, I think. Anyway, look, I wanted to say a couple things about 2 things. I've been around this for so many decades that I've acquired a lot of barnacles and a lot of skepticism and some good news. So I want to talk about PLA, or so-called compostable plastics. And I want to talk about Coca-Cola, which has made an important announcement about its plastic bottle that I just got in a trade rag that I get. As far as the compostable plastics, I don't want to say anything incorrect, and maybe it's changed, but for as long as I've known, polylactic acid has been promoted as compostable with an asterisk, and the compostable is only in industrial composting facilities for both. So both Teresa, Augustine, you mentioned that you sell these things, you have them in your store because they're compostable, if I understood you correctly. And Megan, I wanted to caution that what's allowed, if you said something about fully compostable, if you don't have an industrial, if nothing has changed about polylactic acid, and you don't have an industrial composting facility, which almost nobody does, then it is a misrepresentation, in my opinion, to say that you've got something good because it says it's compostable and it's made of polylactic acid. That's my understanding. If it's changed, my apologies to the PLA manufacturers. The other thing is that I got a trade rag today, and it announced that Coca-Cola is making some important changes in its plastic bottles. Number one, it's going all the way to all clear bottles. When I ran a polyester reclamation facility, one of the big problems is that green bottles have a much lower value than the clear bottles. So Coke, which produces 20% of all of the plastic bottles used for that in the world, apparently, them changing their Sprite bottles from green to clear will have a positive impact on the recycle stream. So that's a little bit of good news. Let's see if I can get rid of that hand.
Does anyone want to take just a minute or two to address the PLA? And then after that, we do have a poll that we wanted to put out there about, I think, upcoming meetings and topics.
I'll just say that at the garden, I did say that our cafe was using PLA straws as a substitute to plastic straws. And that was last year. And this year, their intent is to use paper straws and to do the last straw challenge where they don't give out straws readily. People have to ask for them. It's been a challenge. I'm sure other folks could speak to this, but it's been a challenge to get some businesses to accept that, you know, and incorporate that into their business model, I guess. But we're definitely trying, and there is a business that's based in Richmond that we've been trying to get to work with us, who takes compostable materials and takes them to an industrial facility. I just don't think we do enough volume for it to be worthwhile for them. But excellent points that you make, Alan, and I'm not a fan of PLA myself, so good point.
Yes, thank you, Alan, for mentioning that. And that and PFAS is something that is kind of on our radar, and we're hoping as we work through really writing up the definitions of what we mean when we say compostable, that we can capture that there, because we really do want to make sure that the material is compostable.
Okay, any other quick comments people want to add? If not, we'll go to the poll. All right, so one of the things that we wanted to finish today with was to learn about some topics that we'd like to speak about in the future as a group. And I made this poll before we had this conversation, and unfortunately I cannot edit it because I would like to add some things to the bottom, but I'm going to show you the poll at any rate, and everyone gets to vote. You just click on 2 of these items. So these are topics for future meetings. You get to pick the 2 that are of most interest to you. First of all, we've noticed more and more balloon releases that are being done in conjunction with memorial services, even though it's going to be illegal in Virginia after July 1st to do so. But we could discuss that if you're interested. How to do a community trash audit, which is going on this month in Rockbridge County. Litter cleanups, and a lot of litter cleanups are going on all over the state. Some collect data, some don't. So we could have a discussion on the data and how to use it. Trash trapping options. These are engineered solutions to stopping trash from entering our waterways. We could have a discussion on the biggest plastic problems in Virginia. This would have to be based on data from cleanups. Microplastics, we could bring in an expert to talk about the state of research there. We could also talk about working with the media to decrease plastic pollution through public awareness. We could go into more depth on the governor's executive order regarding single-use plastics. what I'd like to have added was future discussions on composting facilities in Virginia and their capacity to take and really do commercially composting of compostable plastics. But like I say, I can't edit this poll. So please take a minute, vote for your top 2 items that you'd like to see covered. Oh, and I don't get to vote. Dang. All right, another 30 seconds. Yes, go ahead and put in the chat box anything you want to talk about that wasn't on this poll. One is definitely the break free from plastics federal legislation. I think that would be a good future discussion. Okay, last chance to vote. So I'm going to end the poll and I will share the results. So the number 1 was working with media to decrease plastic pollution. And then there's lots of interest pretty much across the board on those other issues other than trash trapping options, which I'm not surprised about because that takes a lot of money. So thank you. We will incorporate this into our future planning. And again, put more things in the chat box if there's other topics that you'd like us to consider, or if you know of a guest speaker that we should be inviting. So with 6 minutes left, I'll turn it back to Christina.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, does anyone else have anything to add? Any updates, anything fun coming up? Stacy?
This is incredibly preliminary, but I have a 3rd phone call tomorrow. Oceana is looking at utilizing about almost 400 acres of their land for other projects. And so I filled Christina in. I thought that would be a great place for compost facility. And so made outreach with Waverly and McGill and have introduced them to economic development. And so they're in touch. Oceana's plan is a little bit more further out than what economic development was thinking. But tomorrow I'm going to ask that they utilize the majority of that land for other projects like that. So stay tuned. It's very preliminary, but like really exciting because it's just ideal. They've already got the big solar panels and things out there, and the land is, in a fly zone, so not much development can get done.
Yeah, for those of you not familiar, Oceana is our Navy air station. That's where all the jet noise that's flying around my head right now is coming from. And there's a lot of restrictions around the base for especially residential and commercial building. So that is exciting because especially with the resort area, to have a composting facility down here at the beach would be amazing. Mark, I think I saw your hand up. There it is. There you are. Everybody moves around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was first, but I did have my hand up. So I was going to make a quick comment about the compostable plastics issue, because at the aquarium we've done that. That was a major step on our part to get rid of single-use plastics. But it's a challenge. There is one facility in Virginia that can do industrial composting, and we have a contract with them, and that's where we send the material. But it's certainly not the end of the story, and I think there are better options. And one of the biggest issues is because there's only one facility in Virginia, you're stuck with having to send it to that location, which is quite far away. So in the big picture, it's not the best environmental solution. So we've been talking for years about trying to get one of these facilities developed in the Hampton Roads area, and if Virginia Beach can do it, that'd be incredible.
David, I know I saw your hand up.
Yes, thank you. The question back originally, because we ran time, was things going on this month for Earth Day. Just finished the Eagle project where we had 600 trees planted in 5 different schools in Newport News. Young man did a wonderful job. 2 weeks ago, we planted 500 trees at the Boy Scout camp in Surrey. We've got 1,000 trees coming to be distributed to schools, to individuals to take home and plant in their yard. We've already done 100 of those, but I saw the need because I was filling them with my 15 schools. We've got another 5,000 trees coming for camp. So we're looking to plant those in the next 2 weeks. We have done 3 litter pickups so far. One of them was a marine one by Kayak in Hampton. We've planted 1,000 trees, Master Naturalists have, at the Marine Museum. We just did 2 bird projects, one with Cub Scouts building 6 bluebird cases, and then we did 6 in an owl box at Hampton Road Sanitation District because they're building a conservation trail and we want to get it off to an early start on that. We've got 2 scouts coming with doing rain barrels, about 50 more rain barrels. We've already done 175, so this will get us over the 200 mark on that. And the butts display, I made my own set of butts and we put them out at each one of the conservation projects. So it was a great idea and it's being well received. And we're trying to get out there to make people aware of those cigarette butts and they need to be picked up. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Yeah, the butts, there is a YouTube video from askhrgreen.org and I think Keep Suffolk Beautiful. If you want to make your own giant cigarette butts for a display at your facility, it's how to make a big giant cigarette butt. It's pretty fun and effective. I know they have some at Nauticus and all around Hampton Roads.
We'll put that in our next monthly digest of comments, and be sure you send us, if you have an announcement you want, get it to us in the first half of the month and we'll include it in the email that goes out to all members of the network.
All right, I'm going to give you 1 minute of your life back, as Jim Duffy would say. Thank you all for coming today. Again, don't hesitate to use the forums on the website. Get the word out to others that are fighting the issue of plastic pollution. And if you come up with a topic for the future meetings, you know, let us know and we can certainly. That's Katie's farewell music. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful Earth Day. Boy just came to say hello. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.